Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Slice of Gaming podcast, episode 60. That's right. Been doing this for 60 episodes. I am honestly pretty surprised by that. Joining me today is Dark
Hey, how's it going?
and the very, very special guest, Bob.
Hello. Yeah, Sean Hollister couldn't be here today, so I'm replacing him and happy to be on the show with everybody.
Awesome to hear, man. I don't know who Sean Hollister is, but I'm assuming he's a pretty awesome video game guy.
We'll tie it in later.
Okay, that's good to know. If you guys want to catch us, we are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever podcasts are found. Like the podcast, any type of support helps us, and follow us on Twitter at A Slice of Gaming. But let's get right, before we actually get into the news, I wanted to give Bop the stage because we've been a little harsh to Avowed, and I just want to hear Bop sell us on the game. Sell me on why Avowed is something to be excited for, why this delay is a good thing, why you're personally like so excited for this one.
Oh my god. Okay. Wow. Did not see this one.
I just wanted to put you on the spot. I like
just
putting you on the
put
spot.
me on the spot. Wow. Okay.
Well, because we've been like pretty harsh to it, and I want to
Yeah,
hear.
I mean,
like,
I'm in the comment
fan
section
of it.
being like, "Fuck you guys, Avowed's great."
Well, hey, it's like those YouTubers who just bring up a comment or a random viewer, and it's like, okay, defend yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah,
You want to talk shit.
that's fair. Yeah, no, I understand why. I think hype is a little low on Avowed. Part of that is I don't think they're really marketing much or like doing a lot to help their case. Like honestly, I started following their Twitter account and I think that's given me so much more information than anything Xbox will like officially put out. It sucks because you have to go find that stuff. But I think I forget who said it maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, but really it just comes down to Obsidian more than anything.
I was just about to ask you that question. I mean, would you still be excited for Avowed if Obsidian wasn't developing it?
I think it would depend on who the developer is, but probably not. Like I'm trying to be objective here because yeah, it's not like I don't know the Pillars universe that well, and it's still interesting, like what they're doing, but at the same time, it like I could see people being like, "Oh, it looks like a generic Skyrim," or "Oh, it looks like a generic Baldur's Gate," or any of that stuff. But yeah, for me, it's I know what Obsidian does well. I know this is IP they're familiar with, so they can they are already masters of this. It's not like the Outer Worlds where they just made up a new planets and characters and factions and all these things. Like they know this universe very well already. They've already made 2 games in it. So I think they'll be able to tell a good story, and knowing Obsidian and what they excel in, the reason Outer Worlds stuck with me so long after its launch. I mean, God, we're going on 6 years since, right? It was 2018.
No, 2019. So
2019. Okay, so 5 years. Still, it sticks with me so much. The choices and consequences and kind of the I think of completely different game, but no, I can't think of that game. What's the Detroit Become Human, where it's like the branching?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not that deep of like a branching, storytelling tree, but I do think that the choices they do make a huge impact and change how you play that game. It's one of I'm not someone who replays games often, and that is a game I've beaten 4 separate times because you can just get these wildly different outcomes, and I just think that's so interesting to go back. And it's a shorter game, which I know some people didn't like, but I think for replayability it worked out. And it's just so interesting to see all the different permutations, and they already got a head start with the Outer Worlds on how to do a first-person game because the Pillars of Eternity games are top-down. And now being able to, like, let's see what they've learned from that. Let's see how they're going to improve. We've already seen the combat improve, and I have no doubt they will be able to tell a good story. So I just think that, like, I've never I mean, I jokingly will, sound off in the comments, but like I also don't I think I've been very upfront about being not begrudging anyone for not being excited, because I don't think Xbox is doing a good job of wanting to make you excited. But at the same time, I also, to the people who, and Wolf, you're also one of those people who
Oh, okay.
saw that 2020 like CGI trailer and is still holding on to what they thought that game would be when we've seen it now for like 2 years. It's like, all right, let's can we get past that? Like, can we move on?
I just can't move on because it's like it's not the fact that it was like, oh, it's gonna be like Skyrim. That doesn't whatever. Who cares? It's just the tone of that fucking piece was so my shit of being more dark fantasy,
Yeah.
and I felt like there was like a more like serious tone to it. Whereas like I look at Avowed now and it's all goofy and fun, and it's just like I I get your viewpoint, like I get the like direction that they're going for, but I almost feel like I would have wished that they really leaned into it in the sense of a fable. Whereas like it feels like they're still trying to have their serious medieval story, but it's also very colorful and like I don't know, like it just doesn't appeal to me in a sense. Like my two big hangups with Avowed right now and what I'm looking at is combat and world building. I never like this is a hot take. I've never really liked Obsidian's world building. I think their best world building is in Fallout New Vegas, and that's because they're utilizing a pre-existing world and they build on top of that. I have never really cared for much of their other games and the way that they build up their worlds and create lore and create stories within it. I think the writing is amazing. I think like everything in that regard is great, but it's just the actual worlds never feel as built out. And I haven't played Pillars, so maybe Pillars is like this insane world building choice that like I'm not seeing. But that's nothing that like really excites me. Is like, oh man, I wonder what the world's gonna be like because I just feel like I've been, I guess, for lack of a better word, burned in the past when it comes to Obsidian world building. And the combat, I mean, just I feel like it just speaks for itself. It just doesn't look that interesting. And I want it to be interesting, but I also wouldn't mind if it's like very basic, but they kind of know it's basic, kind of like Skyrim combat, where like I feel like there's like a degree of self understanding from Bethesda, like, yeah, it's you whack a stick around. Whereas like I feel like Outer Worlds was trying to go like, no, guys, our combat is deep. And it's like, no, it isn't. And like there's all these other systems that are cool, but like it doesn't help that the shooting doesn't feel great. So it's like all these other systems just feel like a waste to me, in my opinion. But hey, who knows? I want to be proven wrong. I want to be excited for this game and like go, wow, okay, never mind. This game was amazing. I'm gonna be really excited to see what those reviews say.
Me too. Although, and also, one last thing, I still think the tweet that they used to delay it was just the dumbest messaging. Like, oh yeah, we just want everyone to like be able to not fill up their backlogs. Like,
So
okay,
stupid.
like you don't have to talk down to me like that. You can just say like
Exactly.
we're moving it out of this window. Like that was a silly one on their end.
I feel like it's like that's kind of like unselling their game in a way because it's like you're saying, "Oh, we want you to be able to complete your backlogs," and it's like I feel like your game should be, "Oh, you want to ignore your backlog to play this game
Exactly.
because it's that good."
Yeah. That's
I
that's
don't
also the vibe I got from that.
know. Xbox marketing, we talk a lot about it. So, but
We sure
speaking
do.
of,
Maybe that means it's good marketing, but I don't think so.
yeah, really. But speaking of Xbox, we got a resurrection, boys. Tango GameWorks is alive. Jez Corden tweeted out, breaking Tango GameWorks has been acquired by Krafton Inc., publishers of PUBG and Callisto Protocol, game of the year in 2021 or 2022. And they also acquired the Hi-Fi Rush IP, which means they do not own the Evil Within or Ghostwire Tokyo. That's still under Xbox for people who didn't know. Jez Corden tweeted that out. But hey, amazing news. I mean, like this is something that we talked about when it broke around, I want to say May of Tango GameWorks being closed down, along with some other Bethesda subsidiaries. And we were all very pissed off about it. We were all very upset of this idea that, hey, even if you make a great game, you're still going to get shut down. But I mean, hey, they've been resurrected. I'm surprised Krafton of all companies is the choice. I mean, we'll get all into that, but like, just Dark, real quick. I want to ask you just your immediate thoughts on this news story.
I mean, that's a good news story. I don't really see anything wrong with it, besides maybe the choice of developer, because it feels really odd. But I'm glad that the IP is back, because me personally, I wasn't big into it. Like, yeah, I thought the game was good, but I wasn't like, hey, this is something I'm always going to look out for. But a lot of people, it was like that for a lot of people. So I'm glad that the IP gets to continue, and they kept the same team too, by the way, which is something I want to get into later. And they have their jobs back. So
That's awesome. Bob, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, as the soggy game of the year for 2023, I'm really happy that
I
they're
forgot
back
about
on
that.
their feet. Yeah, right. The I mean, this was a talented dev team. We were justifiably upset when Xbox shut them down and they weren't given the chance to um, grow and improve on what was a breakout hit, I think, for them. And so I'm happy that they are getting that second chance. And yeah, I definitely there is some skepticism on kind of the details surrounding it that we'll get into. But like overall, if this optimistically, if this goes the way we hope it will, I think this is nothing but good news.
I mean, we can get right into that, right? Just immediately jumping into the Krafton side of things. So, if you guys don't know, Krafton is a South Korean game publisher who published PUBG, which is still going strong. It's doing its thing. But they also published Callisto Protocol. And if you don't know, recently Glenn Schofield came onto a podcast and talked about how Krafton was very rough during development. They very much kind of like forced them into a window that they weren't comfortable with and said, okay, but can we get like 3 extra months? And they were promised that and wasn't. And COVID really fucked it up. This huge like pantheon of issues that kind of led to Callisto's unceremonious launch. Do you think that kind of issue under Crafton is going to lead to some issues going into Hi-Fi Rush 2 and whatever next we see from Tango that you guys are worried about?
potentially, we
Yeah,
also don't really know like the finer details of it because let's say that we assume they're gonna do Hi-Fi Rush too, but like, is the scale gonna be the same as the first game, or is it gonna be smaller now? And just how will the dev team be treated is questions I have at the moment.
I think for me, it's I don't love like what happened to Glenn Schofield's studio with Callisto because it seemed like before launch like excitement was high. It seems like they're investing into it, and then once it didn't turn out the way they thought it would, it's like all of a sudden they're not getting the support from Crafton. And I mean, sure, PUBG's still doing well and they're still getting updates and they're still trying to stay relevant, but I don't think that's enough um, of a sample size to know what that would mean for something like Tango. And I think the curiosity I have is that okay, it sounds like Crafton, maybe they went to Microsoft. I don't know how long this deal may have been put in place. But obviously they, um, went to go get the rights for the studio, and then they probably even like had an offer to be like, okay, this IP's worth this IP's worth this, blah blah blah. And they're like, well, we'll just take Hi-Fi Rush because that one did really well and it was a recent success. Um, and I just hope it's not a cash grab in the sense that like, oh, the name of this studio and the name of this game, therefore we can make it. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we know whether I would imagine they'd be doing a Hi-Fi Rush 2, but
Oh,
if
they said so.
they
They're going
said
to
so,
continue the Hi-Fi Rush IP. That's
okay.
was in their
That doesn't
statement.
really mean two, because they can do like a mobile game for all we know.
Exactly, and they can still
I'm
say
in.
from the creators of Hi-Fi Rush, and so that's kind of where I worried about. And I know that they have, or they said that everyone who had a job is open to come back and everything. But I would imagine there's a lot of people that got laid off and were like, I need to find a job. I can't just
I have
sit
an
around
update there.
for. You do okay.
Yeah, 50 people from Tango came back, and the other 50, I think it was, already got jobs.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, obviously that depends on who those 50 people are.
John
Um,
Johannes is still there. He's
right,
gonna be
sure.
coming back, and he's the director of Hi-Fi Rush.
Right, and that is an important one for sure. But it's like if you have 50 of, I mean, for lack of a better term, kind of the lower tier of talent on there, and all of the like the animator, like lead animator, lead story writer, all those people are gone. It's like, sure, you could probably still do something with that, but yeah, I definitely have some questions on what that, like the new makeup of the studio, like how that would go forward. But at the same time, like I love that game and I really want them to succeed. I just like it's hard not to be skeptical.
I mean, I fully understand that skepticism. Go ahead, Dirk. Sorry.
I think Xbox, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like it is pretty clear that this was a big hit for Xbox, and the fact that they even sold in the first place that's a whole different topic. But I think they wanted this IP to continue. This is why they partnered with them, of course. I don't think it was a cash grab in the sense, hey, we want money. I think it was, we want this IP to continue in some way. And then like you start to look at the market and be like, who else would potentially pick this up? Who else really is there? And I don't think Sony was an option because Xbox and Sony, Microsoft is
Xbox
civil with
needed
them,
to
but
be
not like
willing.
anybody. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just like, and the Evil Within is like that series is finished. Like it has two games, they're perfect how they are. And Ghostwire Tokyo, yeah, we ain't getting anything else in that IP.
God bless.
Yeah, I should have clarified. I didn't mean it was a cash grab for Xbox. I meant it was a cash grab for Krafton to be like, oh, we can buy this like now closed studio for cheap and just generate revenue based on the name and like using the name Tango and using the name Hi-Fi. Not to say that like just if they were to put out a bad product, to be like, oh, but it's got the names you recognize, like that kind of thing. That's more where I'm worried about with this. I don't think that would be the case, but like again, I'm just the studio and this developer and publisher are, it's kind of a mixed bag. So I just feel like we don't know enough about them to know really what to think.
Something I'm also really curious about is that they said they're in a partnership with Xbox. Yeah, you gotta elaborate on that. Does this mean whatever they make next is that like that tied to Game Pass? I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox had some type of like clause in this deal that they made if there's something like that. Is
I
it
don't know if
even
they
gonna like?
said-
Are they allowed to be exclusive or not?
I don't know if they said it was an outright like partnership. I think the partnership was just the fact that what's it
I mean,
called?
is
That
that
the
really a
studio was
partnership?
gonna
It's
close.
more like a transaction.
I mean, hey, we'll see what happens in that regard.
I
It's
mentioned
definitely
it
one of
because
those.
Toys for Bob. What is it? Toys for Bob? Like the Crash
Yes.
Bandicoot team, they split off, but they were like, "Hey, we're still gonna deal with Xbox. They're helping us out." So I'm thinking maybe it's a similar situation to that.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, like that in a situation like Choice for Bob, though, that was very much like they probably want to utilize the IP that Xbox now owns with like Crash or Spyro.
Mhm.
So that was very much more so. Hey, we're partnering them with them because we need their IP. We don't really care about like the partnership in terms of like maybe the publishing aspect. Who knows? Maybe they will publish their next game, probably if they're utilizing one of their IPs.
Real quick, I just pulled up GameMinistry.biz, and it says that it is So this is Krafton. Krafton is working with Xbox to enable a smooth transition so that the Tango team can continue developing the Hi-Fi Rush IP and explore future products.
Okay.
So it sounds like
So
maybe they're just working with them to make sure that like everything
Everybody gets a cut.
transfers
Yeah.
over. But yeah, I wouldn't read into that as like, I don't think that's the same as like Toys for Bob partnering with Xbox to make a new game. I think that's more they're working with them through the purchase period, make sure there's a smooth transition, and then Xbox like, okay, see ya. Have fun with your game. Now, didn't Callisto go? I don't think it was there day one, but didn't Callisto go to Game Pass pretty fast?
It came to Game Pass, I think 6 months later.
Okay,
It wasn't like day one though.
right. But I mean,
It was kind of a lot of hype, and then it crashed and burned. That's why.
sure, but I mean, and PUBG has had a lot of sponsorships with Game Pass and Xbox, and I think PUBG was first on Xbox when it came to consoles. I don't think Krafton was
I want to
yet
say
the
yes to that, but
publisher,
I can't remember. It
but it's
sounds
like I
Uh,
mean
there,
there
there was
are
a
working
partner.
relationships there. It seems like.
There was a partnership in where PUBG I think came with the Xbox One X.
Yes.
So it was a weird thing there. So they definitely worked together in the past. I'll be honest though. Before I get into my last point, I always get Crafton confused. Like whenever I read the name Crafton, I think of Kraft mac and cheese. I
That's
don't know
what I
if I'm
think
the
too.
only one. Okay, because I'm just like Crafton mac and cheese. And also last point though, I think it's gonna be a while till we get Hi-Fi Rush 2, considering it's
Oh,
only
100%.
half of
It is
Tango is
Hi-Fi Rush
there.
too.
I hope so, yeah. And it's like it's half of the staff. It's half of like probably going to be a lot of like moving pains going from a different publisher to a completely new one. And apparently they were only in the pitching phase when it came to Hi-Fi Rush 2. So I assume
I
this
don't think
thing
it's
is going
even
to be
started yet. They're still in pitching phase.
exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be a bit longer than we are hoping for it to be.
They have to
But
finish that Switch port, don't they?
yeah, the switchboard is. I mean, I bet that's pretty much done at this point. They're just waiting for Nintendo to jump in on that.
You probably just give this to a different crew too.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very exciting. Happy to see Hi-Fi Rush very safe and sound. Cannot wait for whatever the Tango GameWorks staff is going to be working on next. Another thing I can't wait for is the Switch 2, and according to a lot of rumors, I'm going to have to wait. We got a rumor. This is the most recent one, but before that, I think it was the GamesIndustry.biz podcast. Am I correct, Bob? Where it was Brendan Sinclair very much stating that Switch 2 is not going to be coming out this fiscal year, which means it's not going to be coming out before April 2025. But now we're getting this thing from a Toyo Securities analyst, Hideki Yasuda, who thinks that the Switch or the next Switch will be released in the first half of 2025, aka between April and July. So April, May, June, and would cost under $499, which I don't think anyone was really expecting it to be a $500 console unless Nintendo decided to go sicko mode.
I never did that.
But I mean, what do you guys think? When am I getting my Switch 2? Just tell me. Rip
At
the
this point,
Band-Aid.
I'm starting to lean is like it's closer to the middle of the year, second half, than the first half than everyone was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm feeling.
Hold on, let me do a random number generator real quick. Keep vamping. I'll figure this out for us.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Thank you. This is actually Bob is doing the Nintendo method of just pulling out a random number generator and winging it.
So they said April, right? All right, I'll do 4 to 12. All right, 7 July, everybody. Switch to July 2025. You heard it here first.
I was just about to say, I think it's in July, so I think there's something happening. No, I mean for real though. I think I get the mentality of just save it for the holiday, but I really think Nintendo's kind of at this point where they're like, we kind of need to release something sooner or later. We don't want our third parties to be like they don't need to. I get it. They don't need to. The Switch is selling fine. But I think they're kind of in this mentality of like, well, our third parties are starting to like waver off and we don't want to lose them again. We don't want a repeat of the Wii U situation. And the Switch 2 is pretty much complete. It all depends on whatever the software is, which we can all predict is the next 3D Mario game being the launch title for the Switch 2. And that's probably like close to finished, if not complete. It just needed a few more extra months in the oven. I honestly, my prediction is coming out in May on my birthday. But unironically, even without the birthday thing, I think it's actually a May release. And maybe that's a lot of hopium, but I think Nintendo likes to release in the first half, get a lot of the hardcore there, and then by holiday, you're going to start getting more families interested in the unit and get kind of a second big sales push.
I don't know. The Switch 2 is such a weird thing for me. I don't think because the Switch is doing gangbusters for Nintendo. Like, I don't see them moving away from the Switch.
I mean, you say that the last fiscal report was reporting that the numbers are going down, and
Well,
I
but they
think
didn't have
Nintendo.
nothing out.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like they definitely Nintendo's paying attention to that. They're not just like whatever, who cares? They're like, okay,
the numbers
things
are
are slowing
they're
down.
gonna check the numbers again after like the next couple of months. They're gonna be up again. Just like,
Well, that's my thing. It really just depends on like how performance continues, if it wavers, if it grows in any way. And I think it's just going to continue not wavering, not in a substantial way, but enough of a way where they're like, okay, we might as well get the Switch 2 ready when we can. Because I don't think the Switch 2 is going to necessarily completely stop sales for the Switch. Because it's assumed that the Switch 2 will definitely be more expensive. So maybe they'll still try to like sell the Switch off as like a, hey, if you want the cheaper alternative, there is still the Switch.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of families are going to be happy with that.
the way I'm viewing the Switch 2 is like a Switch Pro. Like you're not like I don't think this is gonna be like, hey, you need to replace your Switch. No, I think this is just like it feels to me like it's a Switch Pro. I could very well be wrong. That's
I
just
don't
what it feels
know.
like to me.
That's not how Nintendo does things, though. They very much like to switch into the next generation.
I know that. It's just the way that how it feels. That's the vibe I'm getting.
But what is your rate on this?
Man, I don't. Yeah, seriously, I just I could
give a
go back and
fuck.
forth on like everything. It's just so hard to nail these guys down to the point where I could see it being earlier in the year, just like the Switch. I don't think they would do holiday. I do kind of agree that they would rather do it either spring, summer, and then have that second wind in the holiday season. And two, I think it gives them like production time wise because they know they're gonna sell out when they first ship. And it's like you would rather have that shipping inefficiency in, July or May or whatever rather than the holiday season.
100%.
So
I do
I
want to
think
say.
yeah, go ahead.
No, you can go finish your point first.
Okay. So I think I probably agree there. And I'm kind of in the middle of what Dark was saying about it being a pro. I do think, I mean, we literally have a bet on it that there is going to be some cross compatibility for maybe the first year. But I do think it'll be a very quick turnaround for them to be like, okay, we gave like it's a Switch 2. We gave you time to be like, okay, let me upgrade. Now we're gonna, cut you off and keep making everything exclusive for the Switch 2. I just don't see how they don't turn away like 140, 150 million plus
That's what I'm saying.
consoles. So, but I could still like. I think they are so far behind from a technological standpoint that they need a serious upgrade. And yes, Nintendo can work their magic on the Switch, but that doesn't mean everyone else can. And even some Nintendo studios, Game Freak, need extra like help. So I just don't see. I don't think it'll be a pro upgrade. I think it'll be a legitimate upgrade, and yet somehow Nintendo will figure out a way to make those games still work on the original Switch for a little bit.
Nintendo's just kind of in a position, like you said, as like I feel like they're like skirting the line and maybe trying to play chicken to see how far they can go without releasing the console. They want to try to get as much Switch sales as they can to meet this forecasted prediction of I think it was 150 million by the end of the fiscal year. It really comes down to I am so interested to see what the September Direct is, which I very much think we're going to get one. What their February game is, what is their early next year plan. If they reveal something for February and March and they're like substantial games and not just like the Zelda ports or something, like ports or remasters, that would tell me, okay, maybe they want to try to skate by with the first half of the year still and then go into holiday. But if I'm watching that direct and they go up to say March and that's the latest release and it's like something like uh Wind Waker HD on Switch, something like of that like kind of volition, that scale, if that makes sense. That would tell me, okay, this is gonna be early in the year because they're kind of skating by with the Switch for as long as they can with like these small interstitial releases up until they get to the big boy Switch 2 release.
How would you feel? And I know this is not going to be this is a hypothetical title because we know it's not Odyssey 2. But if March comes and they're like in the September direct, they're like March we're getting Odyssey 2, and they don't even announce the Switch 2.
Oh, like it's like a Switch 1 title?
Yeah.
For the next 3D Mario game? I mean, listen, I'm only really listen. Can I be real with you guys? I'm only really excited for the Switch 2 because I know the 3D Mario game will launch with it, so I'll be happy.
But I think
Everyone
I
else
don't know,
will be
man.
mad.
I'm feeling Donkey Kong, and I have been feeling this for a while.
It's not, dude. Why would the 3D
Well, they
Mario game
still-
work on a Donkey Kong game instead? I don't know this theory.
But they also have Donkey Kong Country Returns coming out in January. So it's
Yeah,
like
you don't want to overload people with Donkey Kong.
too many bananas for one man.
I mean, we also have the Mario Party game and the Mario freaking Mario and Luigi game coming out at the end of this year. So.
Yeah, well, that's Mario. It's their biggest franchise. Of course, they're gonna overload us with Mario. That's stupid Italian.
I mean,
I-
it's important to point out too. Right now, the only two first-party game. Well, no, Professor
Metroid.
Layton isn't first-party, right?
It's not first party. That
Yeah.
is what is the name of that company? I forget. Factor 5. Not Factor 5. That is a that is a brand. I don't know. So continue. I'm gonna
But
figure this out.
we know they're not Nintendo. So right now we have Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends ZA. Those are the only two 2025 games we know of,
Donkey
and we
Kong.
don't even know like when in the year that is. And
There's a,
yeah, go
there's
ahead.
also Donkey Kong. Country Returns HD.
Sure. Well, we know that's January.
Okay.
And also, I don't know. I mean, not to say that that's not important, but it's also like these are the Pokemon and Metroid are at least new games. It's not
Metroid Prime 4 people have been waiting for fucking.
right. So I
Metro
just
Prime 4, that's a Switch 1 title.
I just those two games, like even Legends, don't feel like Switch 2 games, and so it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, are we going to get more like Switch 1 games, or yeah,
I
there's
can
so
tell
many
you
possibilities.
one game I know for a fact that is going to probably it could very well be a launch title on the Switch too. Is gonna be whatever Monolith Soft.
I knew he
been
was going to say
working on-
Monolith.
No, because
I want you
the
to
reason-
know, Bob. I knew
There's
it.
a reason why I say it because they worked on Breath of the Wild. The reason why Breath of the Wild's map is like that was to push how far the Switch can handle it, and Monolith is the team you go to do that. Monolith has a game that's been done for like 8. Like they've been working on this game for like 8 years now, and we haven't heard anything about it yet. We know this game is like. I would only have to assume this game is finished by now because it started production at the same time Xenoblade 3 did.
I think
I know
that's,
They really want to put.
that's a big fat December title for me. I think that they're going to do what they did with Xenoblade 2 and release it the year of the Switch in
Well,
December.
I don't know because I don't think because we know they're not gonna have a big Zelda title, like a big new Zelda title. But if you want a title like that to push the Switch's hardware to see what the Switch 2 can do,
Mario.
you need a team like but you need a team like Monolith.
No, you
And
just need Mario.
probably-
That's all they need.
I mean, Mario's like it doesn't really push it as
Are you
much as like
racist?
Breath of the Wild did. How am I racist?
Have you seen Mario Odyssey? No,
Some
that's all I'm saying.
racist?
anti-Italian slander.
Yeah, seriously.
We
No,
are anti-monkey slander. You want to get into this?
here's my thing: is that 3D Mario games have always they don't need a showstopper. Like they never really like saw themselves as like we
Yeah,
need
they're
a
also not
showstopper
in the
game.
industry of technical powerhouse, or they wouldn't have.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You know.
saying.
Yeah, so I don't think a Monolith game is required in next year.
No, I'm not saying it's required, but I'm saying it would make the most sense, especially given what they did with Breath of the Wild.
I mean, you forget, Derek, Nintendo holds games. They hold games for years on end. So I wouldn't even be surprised if like, hey, maybe it is done and they just want to wait till 2026 for that. It's very possible.
Yeah,
We
play
will
that game. You're gonna roll the credits that says 2024 on it. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, really. I just want my 3D Mario game, man. I'm like dying for it, and it's at this point where it's like, if you're gonna tell me I gotta wait till next December, not December, like next like September or anything, I'm gonna be depressed.
It is just funny how long like we've been talking about a new Nintendo console. Whether that was the original Switch Pro
Oh my
rumors,
God.
and then it was Switch 2, and it's just like this feels like this literally feels like the
The worst
Microsoft
kept secret.
Activision like thing where it's like, God, it just keeps going.
I do want
It-
to mention, but you reminded me. When the Switch first came out, it was impossible to get. Like, it was really bad. And there was scalpers. When
Oh,
this
yeah.
type of thing drops, I swear there better not be, like, we better not have a situation like that again.
Furukawa has outright stated, like, it's like, we're going to be looking forward. We're going to try to make sure that, like, we have enough units. Now, they always say that. So, I'll just say, when you see that pre-order link, get ready.
Yeah, bookmark Wario 64 now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I guess that's it in regards to the Switch 2. Bob, do you remember when it would be like, I think the first Switch Pro rumors were no joke in 2020.
I think it could have been even 2019. I think because like usually it's like 4 years after the launch of the first console.
Yeah, I mean,
There was
then,
the
like-
rumors, and then we started getting like documents from manufacturing companies.
I still
And we
believe
went back and forth on that a couple times.
the Switch Pro was a thing. It's just the pandemic really screwed them over, and it kind of forced like, oh, we'll just do the Switch OLED instead. Like, I fully believe the Switch Pro was a real like console in development. We will see. Moving into real quick, breaking news, guys. This is actually very, very big news that just came in. Nintendo confirmed a few more characters for Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Oh, let's go.
Stealth 40K put this up. We got Peach, no shock. Toad, no shock. Birdo, Boo, Monty Mole,
Yes.
and Goomba. I'm telling you, we got a fire ass crew here.
God, I cannot wait for that game.
It's unironically one of my most anticipated games at this point. Like, it genuinely looks like a really fun game, and I've been like a hater of modern Mario Party for a while, but this is like, guys, I think this is the one.
I hope
Yeah.
so, but the last one was a disgrace. Selling
Well, the
modified
last
DLC.
one-
Well, last one was Superstars. That
Yeah,
one was
Superstars
actually
was
but
good.
It was all the old maps and shit.
Superstars is a
Mario
bona
Party.
fide DLC. Like,
Yeah,
they
and it was
added
still
nothing of
good.
that.
And no, literally,
Charge top dollar for it. Get out of here.
yeah, and it was good.
Yeah, Super Mario Party was trash,
That is a travesty.
and 10 was also trash,
And 9 was trash.
and 9 was trash. 8,
And-
I defend, but I understand people calling it trash.
8 is fine, and then they throw in the motion controls games, and like some of them were fine, but then some of them were like just jack off, do a jacking off motion. It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is this?
You gotta shake that soda, man.
Those GameCube ones got so much hate back in the day from reviewers, and I'll never understand why. Because
Oh yeah, no, 4, 5,
era.
and 6 are so good,
And 7. Whoa, hang on.
and
don't forget
7,
about
and 7. I didn't
But
play
yeah,
7 as much.
The N64 ones are my shit. Like that's where I made my money.
real quick, because I looked it up. December 18th, 2019, NVIDIA announces the Orin SoC chip as a successor to the Tegra line, and that's when we first got our Switch Pro.
Yo,
numbers.
Nvidia's been licking everything as of late.
Yeah.
2019.
Yep. Also, apparently, there's a YouTube video from Dreamcast guy in 2018, but you know, it's Dreamcast guy, so.
Dream. Anyways, moving into our next topic, Jez Corden. This is our third topic, by the way. We are yapping. Jez Corden put out this tweet as a response. There were rumors of Forza Horizon 5 coming to PlayStation, and they put out this tweet. Rumor of another Xbox to PlayStation port. I could see it happening someday, but this time around, it ain't Forza being announced next week, at least. I don't know what it is, though, right now, investigating. So very much he is stating that there is the rumor of an Xbox game to come into PlayStation, but it's not Forza. I'll be honest, I don't know why this is news. Xbox games just come to PlayStation now. I don't know why we're reporting on it like it's like, oh shit, another Xbox game to have. It's just a thing. It's just gonna happen. Like every showcase, you're gonna get like, hey, it's coming to PlayStation as well. Like I've reached the point of not caring when it comes to stories like this.
Didn't the first round like not even get shown in the PlayStation showcase?
I don't
the
even
first
remember if
round?
it did.
Oh, well, the first round was announced on its own.
Right, but like,
announced, I think it was Grounded. And
oh, you're
Pentiment.
right. That was in the Nintendo showcase. Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny looking back on it because they were, if you remember the business update, they were like, wait, the 4 games, and then they couldn't say the name of the games. And people were like, why? Just say the name of the games. And then you saw them at the Nintendo Direct. It's like, oh, that's why. Because Nintendo would have been pissed off. We get to announce Grounded for Switch, not you.
Yeah, sorry to the haters and losers. You'll have to keep waiting for Forza Horizon 5 on the PlayStation to experience a true great racing game. But in a serious note,
guy
even
has
though that
not
was
played
completely serious.
He did not play Hot Wheels Unleashed, clearly.
No, I'm sorry. Hot Wheels Unleashed cannot hold a candle to Horizon, nor can the Crew Motorfest. Anyway, I do think if it's anything, I'm just going to throw out Flight Sim.
It's like most likely Flight Simulator.
It's the only one that like, or like
Only reasonable
Redfall.
option.
Like those are the only two I could see it being.
I feel like Flight Sim is one of those games that's so developed around Xbox, though. I don't know how easy of a port that would
Yeah,
be.
I feel like if Xbox gives Redfall to Sony, Sony's gonna view it as an act of treason. Like, what the fuck is this?
How many gigabytes is Flight Sim, Bob?
A lot.
Because I feel like it's gonna be like multiplied by 2 on PlayStation. I don't know why.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know how that would all work. It's just I don't really know. And like honestly, this week just goes to show no one knows what the game is gonna be. We're all just taking educated guesses. Um, but
I'd
yeah,
be down for Killer Instinct. I think that would be a worthwhile and smart port for them. Try to
Yeah,
That's
that's
reinvigorate
true.
that
Killer
franchise.
Instinct though. Like for whatever reason, Xbox refuses to acknowledge that fucking series.
It's very much they just don't have a developer for it, and Iron Galaxy's doing their own thing right now. I don't know how difficult it is to find a developer for Killer Instinct though. Like you guys can find a way.
For real. Yo, they should set up the Capcom like the
Yeah, really. Moving into our next stories, a lot of delays and release dates happened this week. First up, Replaced. Shinobi has this. Replaced has been delayed to 2025. I'll be honest, Dart. I don't think this game's real.
honestly, I'm kind of with you there.
I just look at it,
It's a
and
social experiment.
I bet you what's gonna happen. This game has been anticipated for so long. It's gonna come out. It's gonna be like 5 hours. People are gonna be like, "Oh, okay." It looked pretty, but there wasn't really much to it.
Most
I
likely.
just I just can't imagine it does anything from a like gameplay standpoint that really stands out, and that's what I look for in my games personally. I don't want these experiences, you know.
That's fair.
And then next, Until Dawn remaster comes to PS5 and PC on October 4th. Okami Games features overhauled visuals and camera work with ray tracing and more. I will say, looking at the videos side by side, it does look substantially better. But I'm also at this point of I don't really have much excitement or care for this because it is a remaster of a 2015 game, and I don't even really care about the original Until Dawn.
I also feel like who asked for this?
There's a movie. That's why.
Yeah,
It
that's
really
true.
just comes down to that. The movie recently had a big like I don't know a big breakthrough. I guess I don't know. I think they finished filming or something like that. I don't remember exactly. That's movie news. Who cares? But I guess this remaster is kind of coming around, and they want to try to like do a cross promotional marketing with it. I will say though, it's kind of weird that it took this long for the date. I don't know what more you're doing to this game to really require this long of a wait
It's
for the
not
date.
just them. A lot of companies are doing that. Even Capcom, like we know that Marvel vs. Capcom, like that collection's gonna drop this year. They haven't released the date yet.
Yeah, I think it was leaked for November.
Yeah, it was leaked for November. We don't know how. That's from like a random website that I've never even heard of before. But like a lot of companies are doing this. Like Xbox, they didn't even show any dates for anything. I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I think a lot of companies are just being a little more cagey when it comes to their dates and waiting a bit longer. Moving into our next one is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, now officially releasing in February 11th, 2025. Yet another delay. I will say, though, when this game was revealed, they said 2024. I'm like, nope, that's not happening. I don't know why they were adamantly saying
They were
2024. It's like,
optimistic.
well, yeah, I get optimism, but it's just like, it's like one of those delays. It's like, guys, we're so sorry we have to delay. It's like, dude, we were expecting this. Like, don't apologize. I'm not personally that interested in the game myself, but that's just because I haven't played the first one. I hope it's a good game because I know a lot of people are really passionate about it. And the next game that I'm very personally excited for, and Bop is too, but he's not here right now, is the Plucky Squire. I actually don't know if he's interested in this game. I don't know. The Plucky Squire has a release date for September 17th, and it's going to be day one on PlayStation Plus Extra. Nope, Game Pass, I don't think. So that's interesting. And I think it just comes down to PlayStation probably jumping in on that deal. But yeah, September 17th, like a week before Zelda. God damn it.
Got you pinched.
Yeah, really.
I'm
Bob,
just glad it got a date.
Bob, are you excited for this game?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, I wasn't talking out of my ass. I was like,
No, yeah,
there's
no.
something he's excited for.
I think that I've always like even from the first trailer was like this is a really cool idea. This is a really cool art style. It seems like they have something here, and I think it was Fusion. I was talking about this too, where It was just, I'm sorry. It's just one of those things where we would keep seeing gameplay or like trailers or snippets and they wouldn't say a date. And then like, it's a weird thing where it's like, okay, listen, if you want to go radio silent, like Hollow Knight, sorry for also bringing that up, go for it. But it's weird when you want to like communicate and show things about your game, but you're still not saying anything. And it's like, what are you exactly getting at here? Because you're kind of giving me mixed signals. So I'm happy that it finally got a date, and it's like super close. I was not expecting them to date it like
the next
a
month.
month before release. But hey, I'm happy that it's finally out and that I get to play it soon. Maybe, depending on how this next month goes.
Yeah, we'll see. It is like, man, September is like, for me right now, pretty solidified as Astrobot, Plucky Squire, and Zelda. So I got 3 games coming out in September for myself. So I'm a little like, fuck. And then like literally the next month, pretty early on, we get Metaphor. So yeah, wish me luck, boys.
Easy peasy.
Moving into our last delay. This is hilarious. I'm sorry. The Verge has Jay Peters. Meta's VR version of GTA San Andreas is on hold indefinitely. The Quest version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which was first announced nearly 3 years ago, is on hold indefinitely. Meta confirmed to IGN and in a comment on a YouTube video. Comment on a YouTube video. Oh man, I cannot wait. Oh dude, this is one of the funniest news stories to me because I read it and I'm like, the what version of San Andreas?
It really reads like a Mad Libs prompt.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I keep laughing. Bob, you're the VR guy. Are you in shambles?
Oh yeah, dude. I've been weeping over this for days. Like that was why I bought a MetaQuest, was for this. Yeah, no, I did not. Did not even know this was being made, if I'm being honest.
I don't know what it even looks like.
Yeah, I don't.
Is it like
I don't think we'll ever know.
the polygonal shapes of like San Andreas? Like, San Andreas is a good-looking game for its time, but like you look back on it now, it's very polygonal.
Yeah, but
like,
that's something that
it's
VR does well. They don't do fine details and like big assets or like detailed graphics well. They do like a lot of their stuff is polygonal. So San Andreas would be a good pick to like fully render in VR, but yeah,
They don't do it well enough, obviously, because that's Shane coming.
Would we ever get a GTA 5 in VR? Like ever?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. You can technically play a lot of games in VR, but it's like playing it on a movie theater screen or like a planetarium screen. So
it's a native port to Quest.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think GTA is probably too much. And you gotta remember too, a lot of these games have to run wirelessly, like on the headset. So unless you did like a Steam Link thing, I don't see that being a thing.
Yeah, makes sense. So San Andreas VR fans, just sit down and alone in your room because I don't think you got much else to do on your VR right now. I know that was the big thing they were waiting for.
Hey, you got the Batman game.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I guess Bob. I kind of talked about this last week. I think. What do you think about the state of VR right now? Because it's looking a little. I don't know how to say. Like you're more on the inside as the core.
Sure. I mean, there's still a lot of support from Meta, and obviously with the studio closure last week, it doesn't look great, and you're seeing Valve kind of backing out of the of their I forget, was it it's not Steam VR, what's the Index, the Valve Index?
Yeah. Or the HTC Vive. Are you talking about?
No, that's a separate one. But but to that point, it's like you're not really seeing a whole lot, like, and you've seen PlayStation scale back. So like, yeah, it's not, the competition isn't really there right now, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, even though Meta's pulling back, they're still supporting the space. I mean, in the last year, we got the Assassin's Creed Nexus game. We got Asgard's Wrath 2, which people are touting as like the best VR game of all time. You're getting you're getting the Batman game, so you're getting like further continuation of supporting the scene. And then you have like I think No Man's Sky is a great example of they added VR support and still support the VR version of that game to be one-to-one with the normal game. And so you are getting still some investment. It's just not from the people that we probably would want it to be from or are familiar with. And that's where it's like, yeah, you kind of have to go digging to be in the scene to kind of understand what's going on. But like, I think it's kind of like, you know, the Vita, where it has its pocket. You know, they're still being supported. They're still making new, at least for Meta, they're still making new products and everything, and they still have studios making stuff. So I just don't ever seeing it being this big takeover. I think it's just going to be for the people who really want to try it out and join this niche community.
Fair enough. I think it's just one of those things where like you look at VR and a lot of people were thinking like, oh, it's going to be the next big step for gaming, and now it's kind of reached this like sustainable niche market that I think a lot of companies are starting to look at and go, yeah, we don't need a VR system the way they felt like maybe like 10 years ago where they thought, oh, we need to be in on the ground floor there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in like 2017, 2018, everyone's like, Phil, when are you making a VR to challenge like PSVR? And it's like, yeah, that's so like gone.
Really.
It's just not like, I think everyone's kind of settling into like, okay, there might be like one or two manufacturers and one or two like major developers, but other than that, like, I don't think you're going to see any big takeovers.
For sure. Well, we got one more news story, and this is the one that actually matters, if we're being honest here. Doom the Dark Ages. We got some details from QuakeCon. No new trailer, no new gameplay, but with some details. World is much more open than previous games, so it seems to be more of a open zone, not open world, but open zone approach, which is going to be an interesting direction looking into the Doom series. 3 melee weapons, the flail, which collects ammunition, mace, and fists, which create the chains of electricity. The saw shield can be used to traverse the map. Saw shield can be thrown at enemies. Less verticality than Doom Eternal. Jumping is weightier and heavier now, comparable to power armor in Fallout 4. And now I immediately want to ask you, Dark, how do you feel about that? Were you a fan of Doom Eternal's kind of more vertical, like platforming angle, or is this like a kind of a down for you, or are you like, I missed that?
I mean, I'm not really down on it. I would have to see it first, to be honest. But like, as long as they improve upon the systems and the movement, especially from Doom Eternal, I'm happy with whatever they pump out. The vertical aspect wasn't really that big of a deal to me. So if they just make it more open zones, if it's fun to like move through the areas, it'll be fine for me.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Glory kill system has been reinvented. What does that mean? What do you think?
They changed it up. That's what it means.
Well, I mean,
They didn't explain how. They probably didn't, but you know.
Yeah, idiot. Duh.
I hate these motherfuckers. I mean, I don't know. I just like
It's
to
in the
think of
name, but you know.
Well, it's like reinvented. Like how reinvented? Like what are they like making new glory kills for all the enemies? Is there like a way that
Well, they said the system, so I would assume it's like
maybe it doesn't give you
work
health this
differently.
time? I mean,
I
I'm
mean, the system
interested
was
to see
pretty
more of
damn good before too. So
Yeah,
I don't know how
really.
to.
It's not broke, but they're gonna go ahead and fix it. I trust them though. New weapons revealed: the double barrel plasma hot gun. I think that meant to say shotgun. I think that's a typo. And the single barrel shotgun. You can nail enemies to the wall with the nail gun. The giant mechs can be used several times in the campaign. The mech fights with its fists and a double cannon. Mech can perform glory kills and has a specialized gun. Here's the thing, y'all. The mech is probably gonna be shit to control, and I cannot fucking wait. That's what I want. I want a really shitty feeling mech.
Okay, so we seen dragons in the trailer. What else are they hiding that the mech has its own glory kills?
You're probably gonna put a spear up that fucking mech's asshole.
Be
I
sick if
cannot
there are
wait.
other mechs.
Oh yeah.
Yo, so we Gundam Doom collaboration.
Oh, we don't need to go that far. But how are you feeling about it? Are you a Doom guy?
Yeah, I play. Well, I'm not Doom guy, but I pretend to
No,
be when I play
funny.
the games. No, I've played Doom 2016 and I played a little bit of Doom Eternal. I will say I didn't. It's not that I didn't like the more platforming verticality of Eternal, but I definitely preferred 2016. I don't know. It felt more
That's
like
fair.
Doom to me, but like I'm not gonna like say it was bad or anything. It just wasn't what I kind of look for. Um, but like I'm glad they're changing it up because I think that's the kind of things that like keeps this franchise fresh and like interesting. And I think what they're doing here is like another iteration of that. And like whether or not it's for me is one thing, and whether or not like most people like it is another. And people love the Eternal, and I'm excited to see. Like, I think they'll make it work no matter what, and I'm excited to see how that goes.
If there is one thing I want them to do, and because Eternal had this issue with the DLC. So Doom Eternal's base game is okay. There is a drastic difficulty spike when you get to the DLC, and that is because the devs purposely were listening to speedrunners. You don't do that again.
The difficulty spike, bro. What game you playing? That shit was free.
Did you play it on the hardest difficulty?
Well, I'm not playing on Ultra Nightmare. I mean, like,
That's
of course
fine,
it's gonna be hard. Well, of course it's gonna be hard on Ultra Nightmare.
If you look into this, this is what actually happened. There's a drastic jump in difficulty when it comes to. I want to say it's the first DLC, and then like they got a lot of backlash, so they toned it down at the second part. Don't listen to speedrunners.
Ah,
I mean,
I
that's
think
every
it's fine.
game. It's like don't
I
listen
thought-
to speedrunners, don't listen to the pro community. Like,
Oh my god! Please never listen to the pro community. Look what happened to Overwatch.
okay, I knew
No,
you were gonna bring up Overwatch as your example, and it's like, okay, I
Just,
mean,
I'm
some of those
just
things they
saying-
had a point.
Look at what happened to Mercy. Remember when they first buffed Mercy and she could res like twice, 3 times in one
Oh
life
yeah,
if
it
she
was
had
like
her
the
ultimate?
Moth meta. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, that is the meta that like got me to Masters. So you know what? Shout outs to that.
Let's get into Overwatch.
I didn't play Mercy. I just like abused her. I used her so much in that fucking meta. I loved it.
Hey yo.
Pause. Anyways, last thing. Reviews of the week. We got a reviews for Black Myth Wukong finally coming in at an 82 on OpenCritic with about
Game
30 critic reviews. Only PC version reviews right now. So no PS5 codes were sent out. And that's something that a lot of people were discussing. And I don't know. That's something to look out for. Though I will say a lot of people were I saw some people upset, like, why isn't it higher? This is pretty much exactly what I expected. It's around that like high 70s, early 80s. Because one thing to note about non-FromSoft Souls-likes is that they are usually centered around the 80s. But that does not necessarily equate to the game's quality in any way. I just think that like FromSoft is just really good at making games. Though everything I've seen about this game, it doesn't very much seem like a Souls-like. This seems very much more like an action RPG, and I think it's just weirdly being compared to being a Souls-like. And I saw some more reviews of it. It's like, yeah, this is not really a Souls-like, so I don't know why we're still considering it as such. It's a weird situation, but I'm excited for it. I think I'm still going to very much check it out day one. This is the type of game that really appeals to me. I'm going to be very interested to see what the tail on this game is, and especially I want to see what that PS5 version is looking like performance-wise, because there's some weird stuff around that.
Yeah, I looked into the reviews for this game as well, because this has been a game that's been on my radar for a hot minute. From what it's looking like, this is more like Bayonetta Devil May Cry, but with a bigger emphasis on bosses. And the only reason it's getting compared to a Souls-like is because of how the save system works, where you can rest and then everybody respawns. Outside of that, that's all there really is to it.
Yeah, no, I mean the idea of like a big boss, like it very much everyone was comparing it as a boss rush game, and that's pretty exciting. I love boss rush games. I'm gonna be interested to see like what exactly like that means moving forward. Bob, how about you? How are you feeling about this game? I know you were talking a decent amount about it in the Discord earlier.
Yeah, we were. So Fusion, Colin, and I were talking about the spec test that came out. What was that, Tuesday? And so we were running some PC performance tests on it, and we were all under the same boat of like, yeah, this test runs well, but like, will the main game be optimized? And it sounds like the jury's still out on that. And sorry, but after the whole Cyberpunk fiasco of like, not giving out anything but PC codes, it's like hard not to be a little like, what's going on there, guys?
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to follow. But yeah, I mean, I was never gonna get this game day one, but I think me and Dark were talking about it earlier, where and I think you said exactly right, Wolf. This is kind of where the bar is right now for these action, maybe Souls inspired games that are not made by FromSoft. It's the low 80s. That's kind of the bar right now. Brought up Liza P as the example. And Liza P is also the first game by that studio. So this is the first game by this studio. And so I think this is a great first step, and hopefully they maximize the most out of it. And the sky's only up right now, but I mean, granted, we haven't even played the game yet. But it just seems like this is a good start for these guys, and I hope they get good feedback and keep supporting the game, and hopefully there's not too many issues at launch.
I mean, where do you go from here? Because they picked a really unique genre that, like, you very rarely see Chinese mythology used in games. Where did they go next?
More of. I mean,
Donkey
maybe you
Kong.
just do
That's
it.
the Donkey Kong game you get next.
Now that's racist.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see them as like the mythological studio. Maybe their next game is Scandinavian mythology. Their next game is Japanese or Egyptian, or maybe they want to stick with the Chinese mythology and do Black Myth Wukong too. There is a lot of Chinese mythology out there. I don't think they like blew their load completely with this game. So,
Oh yeah, something I want to touch on too in terms of the story. I was under the impression that, hey, this is them telling Journey to the West and game format. This is a sequel to Journey to the West. It turns out this takes place after he went through the whole adventure.
oh, that's exciting. No,
I think it
That
was
is interesting.
Game Ranks or someone. Yeah, I think it was Game Ranks who mentioned that. I was like, oh, so yeah. If you're looking for a recap of Journey to the West, you're not getting that here. It's a sequel to it.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. I realized that there was a story that I completely forgot to put on the doc, and if Fusion was here, he would actually be pissed off at me. Dragon Age got a date.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that. I literally watched the trailer for it.
Well,
yesterday.
we were just so busy talking about Avowed earlier that like, why would we bring up Dragon Age? That would feel so redundant.
I was told to add a new section. Bob, are you aware Avowed got delayed out of fear of Dragon Age?
What are your thoughts on this, Bob?
I was told to say this by Fusion. I don't care about either game. I just want to point that out. I'm just the third party.
Hey, Sarah, I was
You
on
lost.
a work call. You were saying something?
Okay, no problem. I will say, Dragon Age, that trailer looks pretty cool, but I don't care. I just don't. I'm at this point now with BioWare where I'm like, I'll wait for the reviews. You don't put two bad games out in a row and then expect me to go, okay, this next game, this is the one. But I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I obviously don't like want this to fail or anything because I want them to take this momentum into another Mass Effect game. And it does look interesting. Like I definitely, if it gets good reviews, I would consider picking it up. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like, yeah, I'm waiting for reviews. I just don't have any like they have not earned my trust at the moment.
You gotta wait for the fucking Oh, dude, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Whatever.
So, yeah, I'm sure it was funny.
Oh, you got to play Anthem. Get yourself prepared for this.
Maybe it wasn't funny. Okay.
Give me some ants.
What if that happened? It's like, hey, before Mass Effect comes out, we wanted to work on Anthem too.
Oh God.
Did you guys actually play Anthem, by the way?
I did not. I
never
just
did.
watched the crash and burn.
It's a travesty.
I watched that E3 demo and was like, I am A-okay.
Dude, I watched that E3 demo and I was like, whoa, this looks incredible. And then the game came out and I played it. I want you to point out, I knew that game was going to be ass, but my friends kept yapping at me to buy it. So I was like, fuck, I guess I'll fucking buy it. And I bought it and I hated it. It was so sad. just remember, never trust your friend's opinion on games.
So true.
Moving into our topic of the show, we have Gamescom coming up next week, opening night live. Keeley will be gracing us with his presence yet again. And with that comes some video games, some announcements, a lot of hype. Not a lot of hype, but the hype, I guess. Gamescom, usually one of the smaller, less interesting award, like I guess announcements, presentations. That's the word. Presentations of the year. Most people get very much more excited for stuff like Game Awards, even SGF, PlayStation Showcase, Nintendo Direct. It's like Gamescom opening night live is kind of near the bottom when it comes to that list. But hey, maybe this is the one that really strikes out and shows up. What's y'all's hype right now for Gamescom? Just 1 out of 10.
4.
4, he says.
Yeah.
You need a.
5.
You guys need a Zack Snyder trailer. That's all you need.
You got a 2 right now.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of sitting around the same spot, about a 5. I always get interested in these showcases. They're fun to watch, but this is always one that like is near the bottom of my anticipation list. Gamescom is not one that just screams out, "Hey, we're going to announce something big here." It's a lot of updates and a lot of like smaller AA titles.
I was gonna say
Even
Gamescom
indies.
I've known for updates, not like new things, which is fine. We need that pocket, but like not everything has to be the Game Awards or E3.
So Okami Games put out a list of games that are currently confirmed appearances to be there for Gamescom opening night live. I'm just gonna ask you guys on a scale of 1 to 10, not your hype level for the game, but what you like, your excitement for seeing it at this showcase. Like, oh, I really want to see more of this game on a scale of 1 to 10, if that makes sense. Like if Avowed was there, like how excited would
Isn't
you
it?
be to see another trailer for Avowed?
I think
Oh, is
Avowed
it?
actually is there.
Wait, is it?
I feel like it
I
is
don't
there.
No, on this list it's not. Was it announced to be there? Oh
It
no, I
might
think it
just
was.
be at
I think
Gamescom, maybe not opening night live.
yeah, it's not an opening night live. But like if Avowed had a trailer, like it was on this list, then you could say, "Oh, I really want to see a new trailer 10," or "I'm excited for the game, but I don't care to see a new trailer 1." If that makes sense.
Yes.
All right, cool. Let's jump into it. Black Ops 6. I'm sitting at an 8. I really want to see more of this game, honestly. Like surprisingly so.
I feel like they should a lot, especially as of late, because they've been doing Twitter drops. So I'm like at a 5.
Well, I don't care. I don't watch Twitter drops.
That's fair. But that's fair.
Go ahead.
Do we know if it's multiplayer or single player? What they're showing?
I don't think they actually confirmed. I'll look it up right now. But
Okay, because I feel like if it's multiplayer, I would be at. Honestly, I don't know why I even asked that question. I'm probably in the same spot where I'm kind of at a 6 for both. Now this is still the most excited I've been for a COD in a while because I feel like they are kind of because they've been letting this one cook, but still, unfortunately, Call of Duty only has such a high ceiling in my mind.
No, that's fair. I am gonna look. I found this article. Let's see. Oh, we're gonna get a look at the single player campaign.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're doing something interesting. I'll give it a 7. Sure, why not?
The single player is the reason I actually. Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, I'm not personally a Monster Hunter fan, but I know the high quality of the franchise. I know a lot of people are excited. Personally, this is more of a 3 for me because I just don't think they'll get me in with this one. But I want to hear what you guys think.
I'm at 3 as well. I don't really care for the series.
Well, I'm gonna give it a 10 because I'm actually super excited, and we have not seen anything yet. And I think I've mentioned on here I was not like the biggest Monster Hunter fan, and Rise got me in out of all games, and so I missed out on World and Iceborne, and I know this is like the next big one, and I'm just like, from what I was told, Wilds was good, but it like World still had a little bit more, and that was like a 4 or 5 year older version of the game. And so it's like, what is like what are they cooking here now that they're on Unreal Engine 5 on next gen consoles? Like I think Monster Hunter is such a interesting franchise, and we just haven't seen anything yet. So I'm like, what are they? I just want to see what they're cooking.
No, I mean 100%. This is definitely an exciting release from Capcom. I do think we're actually going to get a date as well for this game. Most likely, I'm assuming like in January, February. They kind of like to have something around that span of the year. It's just that as a personal, like I have tried World, and it's a game that I know is very high quality, but it just doesn't appeal to me. But I know this is going to be a very high quality game, and I want to see them cook. I like to, like you said, Bob. They always do something different, and they could have, like for Rise, they could have just done World again, but on the Switch. But no, they actually like had a whole new system in place with the dog and the grappling hook. This is all stuff I heard from other people, by the way.
No, you're right. Yeah. That's...
Okay, good to know.
And I will say too, I think the interesting thing about Monster Hunter, as someone who got into it recently, it's a very interesting game because they are not big on tutorials. They're like, yeah, go figure it out. And that can either be a good thing or a bad thing. So if you are trying to get into it, I would caution patience and make sure your friends are also patient too, because this game is so much better with friends. It is not a single player game. So, but you can have a pretty good time if you have those two ingredients.
Moving into our next game, and this is one I honestly have no idea how I feel about the idea of a new trailer. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I'll say this. Cinematic trailer, 0. Gameplay where they actually like show an actual full level, fully gameplay reveal. Like, let me actually I don't want to see cuts. I just want to see top to bottom gameplay. Then I'm an 8. Because I just want to know what the gameplay is, like the gameplay loop is going to look like with this one.
Yeah, I'll go 1. I don't not in the sense that I'm not excited. It's just I've already seen enough of this game to where I'm in, and I don't need to see anymore.
Yeah, I'm not that interested.
And I will also say, I swear to God, if they delay this game too, that's going to be so infuriating. I am still on the team of it's not going to get delayed, because if they would have done Avowed and Indie at the same time. It makes no sense to delay Avowed and then wait and then be like, oh yeah, actually Indie, hey, want to make sure you get your backlog in. Yeah, no, they're not. There's no way they do that twice. So I think this game still comes out this year, and I just hope it's a quick here's a release date.
Title.
If it's a December title, Bob, will that be a bad thing?
No, they've done that before.
Just like
I feel in November.
It's so lame to have a big game release in December, because like every time a big game releases, unless your name is Smash, I feel like you just get forgotten about immediately.
Fallen Order did it.
No, Fallen Order was November.
When was Baldur's Gate?
It?
Yeah, I promise you, it was in
Baldur's Gate 3 was like September.
Baldur's Gate was
the full release.
No, it was August.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was August and PC,
it was...
and that full release was September.
Fallen Order was November. Why did I think that game was December?
Yeah, no, I think you thought it was December because it wasn't eligible for the 2019 Game Awards.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. It's just, I feel like if you want like a big release to really make a splash, you want to do it in November. Because I'm not even talking about Game Awards. Like a lot of like publications like IGN and GameSpot do their Game of the Year in the first week of December. Not saying that's a good thing, by the way. I think it's kind of dumb, but that's just how the industry works. And I feel like you really want, as Xbox, hey, we have a Game of the Year caliber title, something that's nominated at the very least. And I just feel like it'd be kind of a throw if you throw it out in December.
Yeah, it just goes back to Xbox marketing, where like weirdly enough they don't care, and I could not tell you why, but that's their prerogative, I guess.
Speeding through a couple more Marvel Rivals, -10.
Yep.
Like we know it
I'm
exists.
at an 8 because they're showing more characters. They're not really showing anything new. Just more people coming.
If you're excited for the characters, if you like playing the game, I get why you'd be interested.
I'm convinced people want to prop up that game because they don't like Overwatch, and that's the only reason people like that game.
No, because
anyway, moving on. Okay.
That's why.
Okay.
Okay, Bob, that's unfair because like they would have propped up Concord.
I mean, people are trying. You hear Fusion out in the streets. You know,
Yeah,
Fusion
you
is
got
like,
Fusion.
oh yeah.
Fusion is the one person. He is the one person that's like, Concord looks pretty cool, guys. Everyone else is like, it looks lame. God, this guy's like making up
Died
ghosts.
in a
in his
rival
head.
Concord.
Ghosts in his head. He's fighting. Star Wars Outlaws. I'm a one I don't need to see anymore because it's just not my thing. But hey, if you're excited for this game, I'm interested to hear what Bob is feeling for a new trailer on this one.
I'm a one because it's going to be like a week away from the game launching. Like, what are we doing here?
You need
they
that
wanna
Square
remind
Enix
you.
trailer that's gonna reveal everything.
God.
I mean, like I feel like reviews are going to drop, you know, before this trailer comes out. It's like, I don't need to see anymore. I'm already convinced.
I'm at a one for it as well.
Metaphor Refantasio. This is kind of the same thing. I'll say 4 because like it looks awesome, but I'm already convinced.
We've seen
like,
enough of this.
Exactly.
They don't need to show
like,
anything else.
Yeah, I'm at a 5. I have no plans on playing this game, but I do like watching these trailers because they are interesting.
They look cool, you know. It's that style.
Yeah, it's got a good
Stalk
style.
Stalker 2, same thing. Like a 6, I'll say, because like it is like one of those games that I feel like could really benefit from maybe like a gameplay demonstration on stage. But I again, it's like I feel like this is the theme with a lot of these games right now. Is like we've seen enough of a lot of this.
I would say an 8 just because I feel like we have not gotten, and maybe I'm just not paying attention, but we haven't gotten a good like long form look at this game in a minute. And not that I need to be more sold, but kind of like what you are with Indie, Wolf, I just want to see more gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dark, are you interested in Stalker?
Yes, but I've also seen enough of the game to know like I don't need to see
Mhm.
anything else. I'm just gonna hop right into it.
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. This is how Dark is with Rivals, Marvel Rivals, where it's like, yeah, I've seen.
Yeah,
this
we
game a
need
lot,
to see
you know?
who else. Even though
But
we
like,
can
I need to
piece
know.
together who
I
else.
need to know. Give me a 10 for this. I cannot fucking wait for
What
this
a
game.
9.
I want to see who they're adding, bro.
Who they've shown like every single arc. I don't know who's left.
Do you remember when they revealed like I think like 10 different Gokus and everyone was like, "We're so back." There's like 20 Gokus. We're so here. They get it.
This is a Dragon Ball's game, Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah. And then next is Little Nightmares 3. Not a Little Nightmares guy, but I'll say 7 because I want to
Give it
see
a
what this
4.
game. I want to see what this game looks like under a completely different developer.
Yeah, I'm at a 1. Sorry, all my Little Nightmares fans. No, I have no interest.
Well, you don't like Oh, it's a horror game.
No, it's not
Never
even
mind.
that. Like, I know they've had like a rocky development, and it's one of those games that people are like, "Oh, this is when we're gonna see it," and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't get the hype around it, and that's fine. That's I totally, I understand. I might be ignorant on that, but yeah, I just don't care.
Sonic X Shadows Generations. I've seen enough. It's very much just
What
a
is there to show?
yeah, it's a remaster. This is a one
I
for
give
me
it a
because it's like
3.
we've seen enough.
Look at
But
a 5. I liked it.
well, no, I mean I like it. I'm excited for it. It's just that I feel like we've seen so much of this.
Oh,
It's a remaster at the end of
yeah,
the day.
right.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This is looking like a 7 for me. Of the intrigue with this trailer, I want to know really what the loop of this game looks like from like top to bottom. If they're really changing it up from the first game, probably gonna be the same. But I want to see like graphical changes. Maybe if they're really updating the engine, all that good shit.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. I think I'm kind of in the same boat. It's like, what are they doing to differentiate this to like be worth a sequel?
Dune Awakening. This is a negative one for
1.
I don't care about Dune. What Dune? I don't think Dune's that big. Is that a hot take?
Dune is big, but like I don't care for it.
But like,
I mean, it's big, but it's not like people want to put it in the same category as like Star Wars. Like, all right, let's
No,
go.
that's never reaching that.
I keep seeing like it's like people laughing. It's like Dune, the new Dune changed my life. Like, oh my god, guys.
It was good, but yeah, I don't think it's anything
I
crazy.
mean, was it really?
Yeah, I think it was good.
There's a lot of sand. I know that. I like desert levels. So
Yeah, it's
The problem
everywhere.
didn't they say Dune Awakening is like the MMO survival game. It's like God,
Yeah, no,
dude,
that's a one.
all my like least favorite parts about gaming. My most anticipated Civilization 8. This is a 12 or 7. Sorry,
I was
cannot
like,
read
whoa,
the
8?
number.
They skipped 7?
No, I cannot fucking wait for it. I love Civilization, and I was the one person in our group that was excited. Oh no, Beef Hammer was also excited for Civ 6, 7. Yeah, what is with me in numerals? But Civ 7 being announced as SGF, and now we're actually going to get the gameplay. Listen, this is how the Civ community is. We're just excited to see. It's like, okay, are they going to go for hexagons again, or are we going back to squares? Like this is the hype
Hell
level
yeah.
for Civilization. So yeah, this is what I'm extremely excited to see more of, like how they update the engine. I'm hoping for like maybe we can get some like mythological figures like Sun Wukong as like world leaders. I'd be interested in something like that if that's kind of their evolution of the series. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
Oh,
I'm actually pretty
9.
interested. This is a 7 for me. I want to see some more of this game. It looks very cool.
This game looks fucking incredible. Like this universe is like the most metal fucking universe. Like this is gonna fill that Gears of War void that's been missing.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm honestly at like a 5 only because I'm excited, but at the same time, there's just so much coming out that it's like I need to be sold on this one, and so
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air on it, but it does look good from what I've seen.
for sure, for sure. And then Crimson Desert. This was that weird looking, not weird looking, but like that really interesting looking MMO that, not MMO, single player RPG that they showed. I think it was last year that I think Dark put on his
Yeah,
Fantasy
that's with the
Critic.
drifting horse, right? Yeah, it's a
Yeah, the
10. I want to see
drifting.
more of that.
Oh
Yeah, no, I'm at
yeah,
a 10. I need to see more. It looks extremely silly, but in this cool fantasy realm, so it's gonna be serious, and I cannot wait. I want to know what this looks like.
yeah. I'll give it a 7.
And then finally, Visions of Mana. This is the same as Star Wars Outlaws. It comes out the week later, so 1. Because it's like,
0.
okay.
Yeah, 1. Also, I'm not. I just won't be able to get to this, even if I am interested for a while. So
Yeah,
sorry about it.
I'm interested in the game, but it just comes out of this space where it's like, yeah, you're in Astrobot area. You ain't that guy, buddy. But that's it for the stuff that is currently announced for Gamescom. What else do you guys think we're gonna see here? I know it's a
The
hard
Wolf
show to
Among
predict
Us.
for. Oh wow, he just goes for the fucking fence. I was like, it's usually smaller titles that it says Wolf Among Us too. I mean, what are you thinking, Dark? Like, what brings about this excitement that you think it's gonna
I
be
mean,
there?
look, if you haven't played The Wolf Among Us, you gotta go play it. That game is phenomenal. But they've been teasing us for who knows how long that it's coming out this year. We haven't heard shit. And we know that Jeff likes to have these type of games. This is very much a Jeff type of game. This is probably if it's at Game Awards, I might be pissed off. It's probably gonna be here. If it's still on course for this year, that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wolf Among Us, I could see it being here, but like, it's one of those like games that I feel like we've been hearing about forever now. That it's almost impossible for me to predict when it's gonna show up. So it did recently get delayed out of 2024, so maybe they were like, hey, we want to have this, and it's a March release. Who knows? I hope it comes out. I hope it's awesome for all the people out there that love these type of games. Bob, what about you? What do you think about Wolf Among Us 2's chances?
God, yeah, I just don't know what's going on with this game in this studio. I will piss off, Dark off and say I have not played the first Wolf Among Us game.
I mean, that
So
guy pissed
this
me off, but you
is
gotta go play it. I'll tell you the truth.
yeah, for sure.
What? I don't
Yeah,
think it's
I
that
just
type
It
of
is
game for
the
you or
best
me.
Telltale game that they made outside of the Walking Dead one.
I don't doubt that. But I just know
Hey,
like
Bob,
that,
you
like
like those type of games, don't you?
I've played the Game of Thrones one, and
Oh
I've
my god.
played
Like the most forgettable one.
Yeah, it's not great. But yeah, it's
You like the adventure, choose your own adventure type games?
yeah. I'm trying to think. I
The ones
played
I
one of
don't
the other.
like.
Oh, didn't they do a Back to the Future one?
I'm
Yeah, that
not
was
sure. I feel like they
no,
did
they
though.
did. They did. It was before Walking Dead.
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
You need to play the good ones.
Yeah,
Play
that's fair.
play the Walking Dead one. Play Wolf Among Us, and Batman is pretty good too.
Okay.
He's a busy guy. You could play actual video games in that
I
time.
got a
I'm
football
kidding. I'm
dynasty to
kidding.
run. Okay.
But no, Wolf Among Us 2, the actual. Before you got cut off, what do you think is the chance of it coming?
I don't see it. But I also am ignorant on the situation, so what do I know?
No, no, for sure. We're both ignorant there. What else are you guys thinking? Feeling?
Wonder Woman.
No, you're insane.
That's crazy.
I say,
no, not a
there's a reason why I say this because we got the random leak of like what's in the game from like a random freaking what the fuck even was it? It was like a news article for being subscribed to like the company, and we got to see a little bit of the game actually, and the game looks phenomenal.
But
We
why would
could
it be
get
at
it up
Gamescom?
because it was announced at TGA, so we could you know.
So it'll probably be at TGA then.
I mean, yeah, I would expect it to be there too, but I feel like, hey, if I'm being honest, I don't think they got that much shit for Gamescom. It will be a big title in my opinion, especially from what we know of the game.
I want to see Shattered Space.
Ooh.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, that's pretty much, I feel like, confirmed at this point. It needs to be showing up somewhere because it's probably a September release.
Well, they're at Gamescom already, so I just think they have like an opening night live thing too.
Yeah, I think Yakuza Wars has actually a pretty decent chance of showing up here. Whatever that trademark was
I feel like
filed
that's
for.
TGA.
Yeah, that's my only thing is that it's either a 50-50 between Gamescom or TGA.
Or Tokyo Game Show. I mean, hell, they seem to be.
Oh, did I say TGA?
Why TGA? Why is
TGA?
TGA? It's a Tokyo Game
we
Show.
meant to. Yeah, I meant to say TGS. I mean, what
Got
do you
Keely
think?
on the brain.
Bup, what do you think's more possible, TGS or
I think
Gamescom for
TGS.
Yakuza? Okay, yeah. TGS does seem to be much bigger than usual now that Sony's actually going to be showing up there. And then what else is like jumping out at y'all? Apparently, the Sega did say they're showing off something, like a new game
Gonna be
from
the super
Sega.
game.
It's not the super game. Stop saying super game.
I'm gonna keep taking it till it comes out. Imagine it's unironically they did a show Persona 6.
No. No way.
Not at Gamescom. That's I think that's the problem with Gamescom, and this kind of comes to a deeper discussion. Do you guys think Jeff is gonna start to like want to make Gamescom feel like less of a they're not gonna show this off because it's Gamescom type energy, or is he kind of fine with it basically being the update show?
Yeah, I think you need that
He's fine
balance.
with it.
I don't think you need every single because you're starting to cannibalize your other events if this is another show for like announcements or new things. I think you kind of need that balance to prop up your other two that are like your two big tentpoles. Not everything has to be this big announcement show from him. I think it's good to have some balance.
For sure. I am curious. I guess like any other updates on games, like nothing like a Wonder Woman scale, but like, is there anything else coming out this year that would need an update? That you guys get, like maybe Astrobot gets another trailer here or something of that scale?
Lego Horizon? I don't know.
Oh,
Flight Sim needs a new trailer.
I completely forgot about Lego Horizon.
Yes, Dark. Yes, it does need a new trailer. Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
Thank
Dark,
you for
what's your
clarifying.
deal against Flight Sim? Do you not like flying shit?
I don't like that it uses data to play the game.
Oh, wow.
That's every video game. It uses data. I hate how this game requires me to press the A button, man. Fuck this.
Fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, I don't know. This Gamescom is such a difficult show to predict for. I just don't have much else jumping around
Like
in
we
the brain.
predicted everything there is to predict.
Yeah.
Besides that Sega
Exactly.
game.
Yeah, I mean the Sega game.
What
maybe-
about AC Shadows? Think that shows up, or it's all Star Wars?
Nah, I think
I
it's
can see
mostly
AC
Star
Shadows.
Wars.
I mean, yeah, actually, because like they don't want to cannibalize the attention away from Star Wars by showing off another AC trailer now. So maybe they wait until a little more later to jump in on that.
What if? Wait a minute. Wait. What if I feel like the Sega game's gonna be Jet Set Radio. Because we know that there's two.
That.
No, but they teased one of them. We know that there's two Jet Set Radio titles in production. There is a remake, and then there is a new entry. They haven't shown one yet.
Just a radio actually does sound like a.
Jet Set Radio feels like that's what the title's gonna be.
I could see that like being the re-reveal of that game because that one's or this is a new game from Sega though. That's my
Yeah,
thing.
that's the thing. There's two Jet Set Radios, and they only showed one.
Oh yeah, because there was a.
No, that makes sense. There's an AM and an FM.
Yep.
An AM and an FM. God bless you.
That's gonna fly over so many people's heads.
Yeah, like Ben's just gonna be like, what the hell is that?
Dude, not knowing AM or FM, there's gonna be a lot of kids that are like that. That's gonna be the worst day of my life.
I think we're already there, buddy.
I know. No, I don't want to talk to a kid who says that though. I'm
Yeah,
scared. But yeah, I guess that's it for Gamescom. Tuesday, August 22nd, we will be recapping the whole show next Friday. Current hype levels seems to be pretty low from all of us, but again, as Bob said, like you kind of need an update show. You need a show that's very much like, hey, here's some updates for everything coming up.
Unless you're Bench and you're like, no, this is the year. There's game devs flying out for it. It must be the biggest show of the year. Sorry, Bench. I'm just gonna put you on blast for a second.
I'm actually really glad you mentioned Bench because he had some Gamescom predictions.
Mm.
Don't worry, guys, I didn't forget. His predictions are FF16 Shadow Drop on PC and Xbox.
That's Tokyo Games.
It's not going to be a Shadow Drop. I could see it getting announced because what's it called? There was that rumor of FF16 coming to Xbox and
I
PC.
mean, a PC port might get. Nah, they wouldn't shadow drop a PC port either.
I mean, the PC port would probably be at the same time, but I feel like it might be the FF7 remake situation where they just do the PC port and then don't do the Xbox port at all.
I mean,
the rumors were
Xbox
direct
port
the
makes
same.
sense. Yeah, because
They were-
Square needs money from everybody now, so Xbox exists for them again.
Does it? Are they going to get that much money from it? No, I'm kidding. I don't know if the Xbox audience is really big Final Fantasy fans though.
I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
the thing. Well, you could say the same thing with Persona. Look how that turned out. So
They also
Did
haven't been given a chance to be fans much.
Yeah, fair enough. Astrobot new trailer. Yeah, that seems to make sense. AC Shadows trailer. I guess we talked about already that we don't know if that's gonna happen. Okay, well, I just read this next prediction.
Wait, okay, let's see what it could be.
Just
trying
think
to
about
think.
what the biggest possible thing could be. This
For
motherfucker.
bench?
metaphor.
Not for bench. Just think about just in gaming.
Oh, GTA 6, gotta be.
No, he didn't
Okay,
say.
Persona
PS,
6.
PS5 Pro.
Nope.
Wow. Okay.
Persona 6.
A game that's not real.
Game that's not.
Oh,
real.
Silk Song.
Yeah, Silk Song release date
That's
February
crazy.
2025.
Where did he get that date from?
I love this bench guessing game. This is fun.
Seriously. What, okay, and then he says a demo for what game?
Are we getting a
Metaphor.
demo too?
Yeah, for what game is gonna get a demo?
Metaphor.
Yep, Metaphor.
Oh,
of course,
that's so good.
it's a
I'm
game
locked
he's-
in.
it's the game he's excited for. What a shocker!
Yeah, right.
And then he had one more that I actually think isn't that unrealistic. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you guys can predict this. This will be actually impossible to predict. This was a game that was at TGA that everyone forgot about, and it was like years ago.
Oh,
But it's a game
Yeah.
Bench is passionate about.
bench is passionate.
Just passionate about.
He is passionate about the first game, and this is the sequel.
Oh, there's multiple in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the Arc 2 gameplay reveal.
Oh,
He's super big
that's
into Arc.
Right.
I could honestly see that.
Let's see some more Vin.
Big Vin. I will say the Metaphor demo announcement, not in a million years. I think that's a game that they're just going to release. They don't need
Yeah.
a demo. Silk Song. Stop predicting Silk Song at these shows.
The goal has been changed so much with Silk Song.
It was funny. I don't remember who said it, but it's like it would be so lame if Silksong finally showed up at Gamescom of all
That
places.
would be lame.
It's like really this is your choice of venue,
Yeah.
like not a Nintendo Direct or SGF.
Right.
It's this. But okay. But yeah, that's Bench's predictions. God bless him. He's always shooting for the moon. I guess that's it for Gamescom though. I do want to ask real quick, guys. August games. We got Concord coming up.
Sure do.
What do you honestly think the player count's going to be for that game? Like just like the peak at the end of the month.
Steam or everything?
Steam.
Because I feel like they're
20,000.
not going to say what it's going to be on PlayStation.
Oh, Sony's not going to say. Sony never says. I know them.
20,000.
20,000. Honestly, that's higher than I thought.
I'll be a little well, that's the thing. It's oh wait, no, never mind. It's not on PS Plus.
I think 20,000 is extremely generous. If I'm being real.
I could.
For day one, then after that's gonna plummet.
I thought for sure this game would have been announced to have a PS Plus day one, and they didn't.
Wonder. Do we know what their peak was on the demo?
2K,
Oh,
and that was the free one.
oof.
The free demo that anyone could have played, and it was 2K.
Statement.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't want to be mean. I think 20K is like I'll go.
Yeah, so 20
$40 video
You see
game.
20 be raising it?
The demo, the open beta,
Yo,
that
we're
was
talking 1.5.
free. All you had to do was download a free game, and people still didn't play it. It was 2,000. I'm sorry.
1.5.
I'm saying, yeah, I think 1.5, maybe 2K if we're lucky. But I have zero faith in this game. I want it to be good. I want it to do very good. They put out a roadmap, but it's just I don't believe in it.
Marvel Rivals is gonna take this game over. First this, then Overwatch.
He always talks about Marvel Rivals like it's the second coming of Christ. I swear to God. What about the other August games? I mean, you guys excited for Bob? You were talking about Star Wars Outlaws. I don't know what Black Myth Wukong. We already talked about a decent amount. Visions of Mana. I guess we talked a lot about like what we're feeling for the rest of the month. Do you guys think there's anything that's going to be in the Game of the Year contention when it comes to August games, or are we going to look at like later on for the year for stuff like that?
I still
later
think
on.
Outlaws has an outside chance.
You believe?
I've been on the train this whole time. I'm not about to get off before it hits the station.
I want to believe it. There was some recent stuff that did look pretty cool, and the preview seemed very positive on it. So maybe this is. I think for Star Wars fans, people are going to be very happy with it. I will say, I don't know if you guys noticed it. There is a weird group of people that really want this game to fail.
Yeah, there's a weird group of people that want a lot of specific games to fail, and it's like I just started cutting those people out because they're just arguing in bad faith, and it's like you can't like. It's not even worth the energy, honestly. But yeah, but besides that, I think there is still like a camp of Star Wars specific fans who just hate anything Disney has done with Star Wars and just wants that to fail. And like, I at least understand that, but yeah, that other camp, I just don't even.
You ain't never appeasing Star Wars fans, man.
True.
That's impossible. But did you guys have anything you wanted to talk about what you're playing, or are we good to go?
Okay, so I got one because this is something that I found out about recently. Well, I kind of knew about it, but like I didn't really dive into it till recently. So I recently got into Ruin King League of Legends story because I wanted to see what this was about because Arcane's coming up, getting back into it. So it turns out, and something that I really like that Microsoft is doing with Minecraft is that they're doing a bunch of spin-off games with the IP. In this case, they're doing a bunch of spin-off games with the IP, but they're letting different developers do it. So this game is a turn-based game from the Darksiders team, which is also games that I've been playing recently as well. The game is actually really fucking good. The story is great. The artwork, it has the Darksiders artwork, which is fucking phenomenal. And it has a really unique and really fun turn-based combat system. But I think just the idea of doing this with your IP and letting other developers take your spin at it, and having them all be different types of games. Because this one is turn-based, but I know there's a couple of other ones. They're completely different genres of games entirely. I thought that was really cool, and I just got into that recently.
No, it's interesting. I always like to see companies that like have their one game that's ultra successful that has a shit ton of lore around it, build out the universe in different ways.
Mhm.
Bob, anything that you're interested in talking about?
Yeah. I haven't been on in a while, so I just want everyone to know that.
Not too long. I have a 5 o'clock appointment.
Okay,
No,
College Football 25.
No, take your time. It's fine.
Yeah, College Football 25 is here. I know Fusion's been playing a lot of it. Bench has been messing around with it. It's an interesting case of it's not the game I thought it was, but the game that is there is still so much fun. I quite literally do not care.
Would you
like,
say
if
you're disappointed?
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, it's slightly because there's a lot of things weirdly that just aren't there that I thought there would be. Like the sim logic is bad. Like when you simulate games, like the wrong teams are winning. Like it just like almost isn't following the actual logic of the player ratings or the team ratings and everything. It's kind of just doing its own thing. There's weird rubber banding where if you're up by a lot of points, all of a sudden the computer will like play godlike football to catch up and make all the games close. There's just some like the last patch they did actually broke the game, so it's been tougher to play for the last week. But I've kind of been saying it from the start. I was gonna love this game no matter what, and I've been playing an online dynasty with my friends, and I'm just happy we're back. So it's still living up to the hype and living up mostly to its potential, and I just hope that EA continues to update and patch correctly the game. So I'm really happy with the time I'm playing there. Just real quick, rattling off a couple games. Play a little bit of Flintlock. Yeah, fortunately did not live
Not
up to
good.
the hype. It's not that it's not good. It's fine. I think it's interesting, but like everyone's right that it's not doing anything crazy. It's one of those 7 out of 10 games where it's either going to click with you or it's not, but it's not doing anything crazy. I did play Thank Goodness You're Here, which is that kind of British humor almost
How's that?
it's almost like an Untitled Goose Game style game, where you're kind of just like walking around town doing funny things. It's got a very like I said, British humor, almost kind of a little bit Rick and Morty, kind of just off the wall, ridiculous, like set pieces and stuff, and very double entendre, very hidden, well written jokes. It's just a good time. It's only like a couple hours on Steam. But I had a fun time with it. It was a good laugh. It was a good break from everything else I've been doing. And then the other two games I want to bring up real quick is Deadlock, which is the Valve game.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't have to go into the controversy this week because there is some. Go look it up if you're interested in that. But I have a playtest demo for that on Steam, and it's very interesting because it mixes like Overwatch, TF2, and like League of Legends or Dota together, where it's like you have lanes, like you have 3 lanes, but you're a first-person character shooter, but you have what is it, bots or whatever that follow you, and like you're trying to like capture the objective at the other end and everything. So it's I've only played like a game, so I'm still wrapping my head around it, but I do think there are some legs here, and I'll be interested to see how this all coalesces together and to see if I play any more of it. And then finally, on a similar note, Shroud, well, it's not his game, but he partnered with a developer to make this game called Spectre. I think there's a colon with a subtitle there, but
it was something that he's very much involved in.
Yeah, Spectre Divided, maybe I think is what it's called. And this game is essentially like Valorant and CS:GO, but the twist is it's 3v3, but you control 2 characters on a team. So it's 6v6, but
that's actually kind of
but you have 2 lives essentially, and like both characters are on the field at the same time, and you're switching back and forth between the two, and then once one dies, you switch to the other one and all that stuff. It's a very cool idea, and I think that's the kind of breath of fresh air. Like Valorant was a great take on Counter-Strike, and to kind of re-up or reinvent that genre, and I think this is another excellent kind of upgrade or reimagining of the genre. And what's nice is there's no movement penalty. So part of what I don't like about CS:GO and Valorant is that you have to stay still. Once you move, the bullet spreads all over the place. This game, not that problem. You still have to be accurate, but you can move around and there's not a movement penalty. And that's
it looks a bit more like COD shooting wise. I'm watching right now.
Yep. But it's still got all the same kind of buy systems. It's plant the bomb, defend the bomb, that stuff. But I think that's the most promising of the 2 games, in my opinion.
Is it just on PC right now?
Yes, there is a closed playtest for the next week. You have to sign up for it on Steam and on Twitch, because I think the best way to get in is through Twitch drops by watching it. But I don't think they've communicated when the full release is. But like, I've been playing it and it feels pretty done. I mean, I think there's only like a map or 2, so they have to probably make more. But yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it looks like the characters are the incomplete part. They look very sad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of like a cell shaded art style too. It's like not like, but I kind of like that. It's good art design.
It reminds me of Borderlands.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the movie. Not the movie. I guess for me, I could talk real quick. I recently finished Dark's Beloved Majora's Mask.
Nice.
And that game slaps. It's very, very good. I think my qualms with that game are still there, where I never liked how inconsistent the game is with its like what you keep and what you don't when you go back in time. But I just love the concept of a 3-day time loop so much that it kind of just like evaporates for me. My bigger problem is that a lot of the dungeons are just very unmemorable and don't do much for me. Like Stone Tower Temple is pretty cool, but it's like Snowhead's fine. The first one I don't even remember the name of, and Great Bay is hell. So it's like that's my favorite part of Zelda games. So to have like my favorite part be kind of whatever in this one was a little disappointing. But I love the way that they tell its story, the sense of dread, the sense of like overwhelming like fear that you feel throughout the game, especially coupled with the incredible soundtrack, is just absolutely phenomenal. And you don't really see Zelda games doing that as much anymore. And you know, they tried again with Twilight Princess, and I love Twilight Princess, but like that was almost like a mid 2000s edge, if you guys know what I'm talking about, where it's like, you're trying, that's cute. But Majora's Mask genuinely does feel like they really like up the ante with that title. And you know, I still prefer Ocarina of Time. I still prefer a lot of the others, but like that doesn't like I have a much more newfound respect for Majora's Mask, and that's definitely that's gonna be a fun replay moving forward. I had a lot of fun going back to it.
Did you collect all the masks?
Oh yeah, a full 100%, all masks, all heart containers.
My favorite part of the game is when you collect all the masks, and when right before you get the final one, he's like, "Let's play good guys and bad guys." You beat a bad guy. He hands you the most overpowered mask in the game. I'm like, dude, what?
The Fierce Deity mask, like just using that for the final boss, I was like, man, I really fucking break the game with this shit. This is awesome.
Dude, the funny thing too is that like if you use the Fierce Deity mask, you're gonna completely miss it. That boss, the final boss, moonwalks on you.
Oh yeah, it's way more difficult if you don't use it. No, I and also the Anjun Cafe quest, awesome.
Oh yeah,
very awesome. But also, it has that thing with Zelda games that I feel sometimes where I'm like, what am I doing next?
What did you play it on?
The N64 emulator, because I heard the 3DS version was considered worse in some aspects. Though I feel like the aspects are like, the Zora swimming was bad is bad in the 3DS version. It's like, dude, it's bad in the N64 version too, guys. Come on, let's not sit here. Wait, did you play it, Bob? Have you ever? Because I know you went back to a lot of the Zelda games. I don't know if you went back to Majora's Mask yet.
No, I haven't. Like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are still, and Wind Waker are still.
You haven't played Ocarina?
Okay, listen,
Bob,
I
It
have
is
said this
so
before.
fucking
Zelda
good.
is such a blind spot for me. I did the 2D ones, and so yeah, I still got to get to the 3D ones.
No, that's I get it. Ocarina, I think you're gonna really dig.
Yeah, I just hope like is Ocarina and I guess in a sense majority like are they better at kind of directing you around? Because that was the one thing about Link to the Past. I still like that game, but it was definitely made at a time where they expected you to just kill 10 hours by not knowing where to go or what to do and just banging your head against the wall until you find it.
These
It's a
games
lot
very much
better
tell
about-
you where to go. Like they're
Yeah,
like,
it's a lot
hey, you
better
gotta do
about
this.
Okay.
I mean, you literally have a fairy companion that tells you exactly what to do next.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
I
reason
just-
why everybody hates Navi.
Yeah, I just needed a little bit more direction in Link to
No.
the Past. So
That said,
I
it'll
get
tell you
that.
where to go. It will not tell you how to solve things. Like you
no,
will
that's
get stuck there.
obviously, yeah, that's the whole point of the game. So I would hope so, but
Yeah, Bob, I get what you feel. I'm just very much of that opinion of like, I'll just look it up. Like I don't.
yeah,
really
and
care
that's the
that
thing.
much.
And once I look, like, if I have to, because I did have to use a guide for part of Link to the Past, just because like some of this stuff, it's like I don't know how they were expecting me to know this
No,
off the
fair.
rip, and so that's what kind of like, kind of didn't like that, um. But yeah, so I think I definitely want to give Ocarina. I keep saying this. Eventually, I will stick to this promise. Ocarina, or like the 3D Zelda games and the Metal Gear games, are like the two biggest blind spots I need to rectify.
Yeah, do it for me.
You're gonna be
I
a
will.
changed person when
You
you
know
go
what?
through
You're
Metal
right.
Gear.
Metal Gear
know,
will
I know.
change you.
When you
I-
come out
I-
of Metal Gear like 5, that's a, like you're gonna get changed before that, but when you finish the series, you'll be like you'll be different. I'm telling you.
I don't think we've ever talked about this, but you know what like really reinvigorated my want to play the Metal Gear games?
What?
When Power World came out and Greg
Oh, yeah.
Miller was like, Metal Gear Survive is basically Power World. I'm like, huh, interesting.
No. Metal Gear Survive fucking sucks.
No, I
Also,
know.
like, Survive
I
is like,
know it
okay.
does. I know it does. But the
Oh,
fact
okay,
that he
okay.
compared it to Power World, I'm like, that intrigues me.
Okay, I was scared. It was like I'm gonna play them just so I could get to survive.
No. But it's like, that was like the one where it's like, okay, all right, maybe I do have to play these games. Which is a crazy like way to get into them, but yeah.
I always tell people this. People look on the outside, go, Metal Gear is so serious. It is not.
Oh no, I
It
know
is
it's not. I know
very
it's not.
serious moments, but it is extremely silly. And I feel like Kojima kind of there's like a heart to how silly it is. It's like, man,
Right.
it's taking itself so seriously, but it also kind of knows. I love it so much. I will say with the Zelda games, if possible, Bob, if you could play Ocarina of Time 3D, that version is pretty much better in every single way to the N64 version.
And that's what I'm waiting for. I do have the I mean, I have a 2DS that I'd be able to play it on, but I am waiting for the Neo Flip DS because it has a 7-inch screen and the 3DS runs very well on that. So
Mhm.
I should be getting it within the month. So hopefully that'll
Okay.
be that'll be the first game I play on
I mean,
there. 'Cause
Bob, you play on PC, right?
I mean, I can, yeah.
Because there's also this came out recently too. They, for some reason, well, not for some reason, but people have found a way to decompile N64 games. For
I heard
the
about
PC
this.
ports.
Yeah.
And there is a fantastic PC port of Ocarina of Time that you can
60
implement.
FPS.
Yeah,
Oh my
you can
God.
you can crank it even higher than that. But
It
you can
looks so
implement the
good.
models and even the quality of life features from the 3DS port into this port
Yep.
and play on your PC with whatever controller and whatever resolution and everything you want
I want you
on
to
PC.
know
And it's completely free.
there is
You
nothing
can
more
find the
beautiful.
things yourself.
There's nothing more
Yeah.
beautiful in this world than Ocarina of Time in 1080p 60 FPS. Like I'm like, it's a new game. It's so cool.
Well, and that's why I'm waiting for the Neo handheld because the other like literally those two apparently run very good on the 3DS versions, and then Wind Waker on the Wii U I would also be able to play on that handheld. So because it'd have that second, because the whole point of this Neo is that it has a smaller second screen like a DS, and like that just that would do so much for me personally. So
I'm very excited for you.
soon.
Soon.
I want to point out, so I was going on this Zelda marathon. I am now on my last games, which are the Oracle games and Wind Waker HD, and I just got my copy today. So very excited to finally beat Wind Waker. I played half of it back in the day, and now it's like time for me to actually beat this video game.
Hell yeah.
But that's it for our show. As per usual with any Bop episode, we went on very long.
Sorry.
That's why you watch them, boys, because Bop episodes are some of my favorites to record. Thank you so much for joining us, Bob. It was a ton of fun.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining as well, Dark. And thank you for joining as well, me. And I think that's pretty much it. Catch us YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever podcasts are caught, Twitter. Like the podcast. Any type of support helps us out a lot. And I will be saying goodbye. So let's say goodbye, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
And
Bye-bye.
remember, Marvel Rivals will kill Overwatch.